Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today we'll start the Shavuot daf Chaf Hey. We're going to begin on Chaf Hey Amud Aleph by the new Mishnah. Says the Mishnah: Echad devarim shel atzmo ve'echad devarim shel acherim ve'echad devarim sheish behen mamish ve'echad devarim she'ein bohen mamish ketzad. So we have all different examples, some in which you are making a statement about yourself, sometimes regarding others, sometimes a davar sheish bo mamish, something which is she'ein bo mamish, things which have substance, things that do not have substance, which we're going to understand what that means in a moment. Ketzad. Omer shvua she'etin l'ish ploini shalatin. I make a shvua that I am going to give or I'm not going to give. So that's obviously a shvua in which is devarim shel atzmo. Or shenasati v'shel nasati, that I gave or I did not give. Again, that's referring to others. Sheyishan v'shel yishan, that I slept or I didn't sleep. Sheyishanti v'lo sheyanti is I slept, I didn't sleep, or I will sleep and I won't sleep. So that is a davar she'ein bo mamish. Sleep is a davar she'ein bo mamish. Or she'ezrok tzror liyam, that regarding throwing a rock into the sea, shloi ezroik, or not to, shezarakti v'shloi ezrakti, I did or I didn't. So it's also davar she'ein bo mamish. Those are two examples. Says Rashi, trei gavni mashma she'ein bohen mamish. Kagon shina, sleeping is davar she'ein bo mamish. Mamash she'ein behen hana. When you throw a rock into the sea, you're just throwing stones. You don't get any benefit from it. That's a davar she'ein bo mamish. So those are four different possible scenarios of making a shvuah. Rabbi Shmuel Omer enu chayev ela al asad lavoi. He says you're only chayev al asad lavoi on future actions, not if you make a shvuah on the past. Whether you did eat or you didn't eat, but you're only chayiv al asad lavoi in the future actions. And this we had previously as well. In the beginning of this Masechta, shenemel harel hativ, to do good or to do bad. So it's clear that when you're chayiv an olav yared is only on things which were past tense, like I ate, I didn't eat. You would not be chayiv. You would not be chayiv for Shavuos bitoy in the past, like I ate or I didn't eat. It's only in the future. So Rabbi Kiva, and this is the famous machlokes Rabbi Kiva and Rabbi Shmuel, which we learned already. So Rabbi Kiva says, "Im kain einli el devarim shein behem hara hatava." Therefore, I think it's only things which are good and bad. Devarim shein behem hara hatava menayin. How do we know if you're learning out from this pasuk? It may be things which are not necessarily good or bad. So how do we know them? So Amalo. Maribir Kasev, from the extra language of the pasuk, because the pasuk says "Uchol asher yavat," as Rashi quotes. Amalo im riba kasev akach, riba kasev akach. If you're including it, the pasuk to tell you that even if it's not latav l'ra, then we should also include it to perhaps include past actions, like I ate or I didn't eat. Okay, so again, this is the machlokus. Rabbi Shmuel holds they're only chayiv an oil be yared on for a shavuos bitoy dafka on the future. I will eat, I won't eat, and you violate that. Tanurban says the Gemara, chaymim ben darim ben shavuos, chaymim ben shavuos ben darim, which we had this, of course, some sections the darim. So chaymim ben darim shah darim chalan al davar mitzvah kedavar rishos. Now, the main distinction, as it's explained numerous places, is that when it comes to a neder is on the object, it's on the chayfetz. The shvuah is on the gavra, it's on the person. So therefore, it's logical that when it comes to a neder, you can make a neder on a mitzvah. However, when it comes to a shvuah, you can't make a shvuah regarding a mitzvah, because it's something which you are already obligated. It's something which is a chayvas haguf. And therefore, since you already have this obligation, so you can't make a shvuah regarding a mitzvah. So again, as we've said numerous times, from Sukkim, that when it comes to a shvuah, if it's already Matsuva ba'oimid mahar Sinai, then that's it. There's no din shvua. Chayim shvua shehashvua chalos al davar shein bo mamish b'dav chalos al davar shein bo mamish kedavar sheish bo mamish ma'ashein kim b'nadarim. So when it comes to a neder, and again this is the logic, is that because it's on an object, so you can't make a neder on sleeping, which is davar shein bo mamish. But on a shvua you can, because since a shvua is on the guf as a person, so you are here, you're davar sheish bo mamish, and therefore for that reason you could make such a shvua. This is question 13. What are the chumras of nadarim and shvuas and vice versa? So a neder is chal on a mitzvah, but not a shvua. But shvua is chal on a davar shein bo mamish. Okay. Right. So therefore, all our cases that we saw, which is a shvua regarding throwing stones, and this shvuas bitui taka would apply even though it's never shein bo mamish. So Kate says, "Omer shvua shetin leplain v'shlo etein ma etein." What does it mean giving? Ilim it's tzedakah on you making shvua. I'm going to give tzedakah. So Mishva oimid mahar Sinaihu shem anasin titin loy. You have an obligation to give. El matan l'asher, giving money to a rich person. So there's no tzedakah. There's no mitzvah. So therefore, the shvua is chal. Shisha shel yishan eini v'yem Rabbi Yochanan omer shvua shel yishan gimel yamim. The person says, I'm not going to sleep for 3 days. Malkanoi, so we give him malchus v'yashal altar. So hasan every gimel hachanol omer gimel. So if you said 3, so then obviously it's not going to work. However, when we're talking about if you don't say 3, so then it is chal. Okay. She'ezrek soror liyam shel ezrek. So idmar shvua shezarek ploini soror liyam. A person says, I'm making a shvua that this guy threw in past tense a rock into the sea. Shlo zark, or that he did not. So this is past tense. So Rabbi Omer chayev, Shmuel Omer pater. Rabbi Omer chayev isabel avehain. The past tense is something that could be that he did, could be that he didn't. Shmuel Omer pater leisibel haba. No, because since it could not apply in future tense, this shvuas bitoi will not work in this case, because you can't compel someone in the future to throw a stone. You can't force someone to throw a stone. So therefore, it's not something which is shaykh in the future. So it has to be something which is a shaykh to the future. Says Rashi, Yizrak ploini oy lo yizrak ein zeh shvuas bitoi el shvuas shav. It's a shvuas shav shehari ein ploini b'rshusay lizrak v'lo. Since he has free will, so it's not something that you could control. So it's not a shvuas bitoi; it would be a shvuas shav. So Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Kiva kamefagi. Perhaps they argue regarding the same machlokas Shmuel and Rabbi Kiva. Did not Rabbi Shmuel Emer eno chayev el asel lavoy. So he said, you're only chayev on the future. I will eat. I won't eat. Shneim lo ha'lo hated. Rabbi Kiva imkain eno el devarim sheish mehen rabba hatava. That's the only things which are good and bad. Devarim shein rabba taiva menayim. So lo mariboy kasav. Because as we said in the Mishnah, the pasuk says "Ochol asher yavata." So im riba says Rabbi Kiva, if there's extra, yirba kasel b'kach, yirba kasel b'kach. So Rabbi Kiva holds that no, even though it's true that it's not something you could force someone in the future, nonetheless, he holds that you're going to be chayiv also in the past tense. Okay, so again, according to Rabbi Shmuel, it says you're only chayiv al asad lavoi. Rabbi Kiva says no, you're not only chayiv on al asad lavoi, you can be chayiv in the past tense as well. Okay, so says the Gemara, Rav Diamar Rabbi Kiva, Shmuel Diamar Rabbi Shmuel. So Rav will hold Rabbi Kiva, who is mechayiv l'sha'avar, that he's chayiv on things only in the past, in the l'sha'avar, in the where's Rashi? Rav Rabbi Kiva. One second, read this again. Rav Diamar Rabbi Kiva, right? So Rav holds Rabbi Kiva, who says that not only chayiv in the future, but also in a shvuah that you said in the past tense. Shmuel Rabbi Shmuel and Shmuel holding Rabbi Shmuel that you're chayiv only on the future, al asid, but not on the past. So leave Rabbi Shmuel kilamula plagi. Certainly, everyone has to hold. You can't argue against Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Shmuel says you're only chayiv in the future. Because hashda milsid de'isa bahaba, even something which you could do in the future, lo machayev Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Shmuel says you're never going to be chayev on the future. So l'sha'avar milsa de'isa bahaba miboy. So if we're dealing with something in which you can't force someone to do in the future, like telling someone else to throw a stone, then certainly you're not going to be chayev. Kipli go to Rabbi Akiva. Rav Rabbi Akiva. Can Rabbi hold like Rabbi Akiva that does work in the past? Shmuel Emer Adkan lo Machayev Rabbi Akiva Hasam l'Sha'avar el Mils De'isa B'Haba Machayev Rabbi Akiva l'Sha'avar. The only reason why Rabbi Akiva says you can be chayev in the past is because it's something which could also is possible to be done in the future, because it's something which is in your own hands to do. But something in which cannot be done in the future, so maybe in the past it will not work. So again, the only time Rabbi Akiva holds you can be chayev on something in the past tense is something that doing the same thing in the future tense is possible. However, in the case of telling someone to throw a stone, that he should throw a stone in the future, that's not a Shavuot bito, it's a Shavuot shal, because it's not something which is in your control. Okay. Lema beplugta, as we continue to Chav Hamid Beis, the Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseir Rabbanik from me. Maybe they are arguing on a different machlokas regarding whether or not a person makes a shvuah to be mekayim a mitzvah. We're going to see whether that works. Okay. Dinan. Nishma levatos a mitzvah. Let's say a person makes a shvuah not to do a mitzvah, velo bitol, and he's not mevatel the mitzvah, pater. Now, he made a shvuah again that he was supposed to be mevatel a certain mitzvah, which you were supposed to do, but he ended up not being mevatel it. So in this case, he's going to be pater because he had no right to be mevatel a mitzvah. It's not his authority to mevatel a mitzvah. What kaim is a mitzvah, l'kiyim pater. Let's say he makes a shvuah that I will do a mitzvah, but he doesn't end up doing it, you're also going to be pater. Shahi b'din shechayev. The truth is, you would maybe think, when it comes to l'kayim as a mitzvah and you're not kaim, maybe you think you are chayev. K'nei Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira. Dear Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, uma ima rishus she'eino mushma leha mahar Sinai. When it comes to something which the Torah doesn't tell you have to do, harihu chayev aleha. If you make a shvuah against something who's davar rishus, you're chayev, even though the Torah, it's obviously not such an important thing because it's not even a mitzvah. So if that's the case, that you're going to chayev on something so insignificant, so mitzvah shemushma lehem ar Sinai. So when it comes to a shvuah which is much more significant because it's in the Torah, and did she chayev aleha, if you make such a shvuah, zochar, you should be chayev on a shvuah on a mitzvah. So lo ima marta b'shvuas harishus shechein asabal lav kehain. When it comes to Shavuot or Rishus, you can do it or not do it, because it's in your purview to do something which is not, you're not obligated to do. Timer b'Shavuos mitzvah shekein lu'asaba lav kehain, but you can't make a shvuah not a no and a yes, because you can't make an oath by not doing a mitzvah, so it doesn't work in the positive either. And therefore, you can't learn out this kal v'chomer. It's not a logical kal v'chomer, because there is a distinction between a davar rishus and a davar mitzvah. Now, when it comes to davar rishus, it's lav kehain, and that's what lahora lehetiv is. But not when it comes to a mitzvah. So, name a Rabbi Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, who Shmuel da'imer karbanan. No live Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira kol yamul plegi. Certainly, everyone has to hold, like, no one can argue with the sheet of Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, who made the statement that maybe a mitzvah is mush, that you can, that you would be chayev if you were trying to make to be mekayim as a mitzvah, not mekayim it. Maybe you taka would be chayev. Lo pligi, that's hashdo lavahein lo boy. It doesn't require yes or no, right? Because when it comes to a mitzvah, you're not supposed to, as we said, you really can't go against it, but he doesn't have an issue with lav v'hain, that you need both sides. So l'habal l'sha'avar boy, do you think he cares about past versus future tense? No. So certainly you're right. That according to Ibn Beseira, he stands on his own, and no one could argue. There has to be a machlokas tanoim, if you know, machlokas between them, because again, when it comes to davar rishus, he says that of course you're chayev. So by davar mitzvah you're also chayev. Now, why would he say you're chayev by davar mitzvah? Let's do this kal v'chomer. Obviously, he doesn't care lav v'hain. So therefore, he's not going to care about lahabol l'shavar either. Keep pleading rabbanon. Shmulk rabbanon v'rav kilo machay rabbanon b'lav v'hain. Maybe the only time they are potter because there's a lack of lav and hain by a mitzvah. It says it explicitly. When it comes to past versus future tense, the mariboy the kroyos to mechayvi. All it is a reboy. So who says? So maybe lahalahativ is something where you can is a requirement. So therefore, if you don't have lahalahativ, you're not going to be chayiv because it's beferish in the pasuk. It says lahalahativ. However, when it comes to this, which is only a reboy, to say, are you only chayiv in the future, or is it even in the past? So maybe in that situation, Taki would be chayiv in the past. Mosif Rav Hamnuna, lo achalti hayoim. I didn't eat today. Lo hinachti tefillin hayoim. I didn't put on the tefillin today. Mushvechani, make a shavuot to this extent. Va'oimer amen. So chayiv in this case, he lied. And therefore, this is a shvus bitoy, right? So he's chayiv for lying. Okay, so bishlam olachalti. I understand to say I didn't eat today. Isa bulo oichel. So there's a concept of not eating or eating. That's just davar shus. Elo hinachti. I didn't put on tefillin, right? You made a statement that I did not to put on tefillin today. So mi isa below aniach. So is there anyone that says that he won't put them on? So what does that mean? So he's basically saying that he was mavatal a mitzvah. So you can't be mavatal a mitzvah. So who ma'isel mafarikla? What's stud in Katan? You read on the sides. Lo achalti lo carbon. He says I didn't eat. Let's get this down. Lo yechalti lo carbon. Lo hinachti. I didn't put on tefillin. Lo malchus regarding malchus, but it's not having to do with a chiv carbon, because it's true when it comes to tefillin, you wouldn't be chayav a carbon. Masav Rabbi Ezu he shvur shav. What's the case of shvur shav? Nishbel l'shanas hasayidul adam. You make a shvur which is already known to man. Everyone knows a certain thing. It's a dua. And you make such a shvur, that's a shvur shav, at least according to one opinion. V'yomer al omid shel evan shu makom b'makom ploini shu shel zahav. You say a pillar of stone is of gold. V'yomer, or it says you say about a man as a woman. So according to this, it's considered to be a shvur shav. Some people say it could be a shvur sheker. V'yomer ula v'hu shenikar l'gilma b'nei adam. It has to be that the stone for you to say it's a shvur shav. It has to be recognizable to three different people. Taima the nicker. The only reason why you would be chayiv is because people recognize the truth that this is a stone. It's not made out of gold. Hello nicker. If you did not have people recognize it, it wouldn't be a shvus shav. It was shvus bitoy. V'mai ha'enu b'yeheshel zahav. It won't be in the category of it will be gold. You can't say this lashon. So he answers nicker oiver mishum shvus shav. If you there's three people that recognizes what is shvus shav. Lo nicker oiver mishum shvus sheker. So then you would be chayiv not for shvus bitoy, but you'd be chayiv shvus sheker. However, Rav agrees. Says Rashi, he doesn't require the past and the future are connected. Lav the hain boy. He does require a yes and a no. I'm making a shvur that I know testimony. Turns out he did not know. So the potter. Why? Because it doesn't work the other way around. A person cannot say, making a shvur that I know edus, a shvur that I don't know edus, and then he ends up knowing edus, right? So that would not work because it's mushbah b'aymed. He's not allowed to make such a shvur. So therefore, even Rav will agree that in that situation you'll be potter. Yadaiti v'yadati. I know, I don't know. So machlokas. Haydasi V'loi heidasi, I'm going to testify. Machlokas. Mishal mishmo di'emer milsa doleisable haba l'machayv l'shavar. If it's something which cannot be done in the past, then it cannot be. You're not going to be chayav for the future either. It's something that cannot be done in the future, cannot be done in the past. You're not going to be chayav for the past. Since you can't swear in the future tense, so therefore it removes it out of the category of Shavuos Eidos. Why does the Torah do this? It also doesn't have to. He also doesn't require lahaba to be chayiv. So maybe he should be chayiv 2. Maybe he's going to be chayiv 2. So lahu tarti l'matzi. So amris, you can't say that. The sign of achas me'ela. Well, achas ha'mechayiv yata mechayiv l'shtayim. You only be chayiv 1 and not 2. So you can't say you're chayiv 2. Well, by my hilchasa. So according to Abaya, what's the purpose? Afki Rachmana that the Torah specifies. We're going to sign it. Bekula nemar v'nelam. Everywhere it mentions v'nelam, which is the lapse of awareness. V'kan v'nemar v'nelam. Why not? V'chayev al hamezid k'shaying. That when it comes to Shavuos Eidos, you're still going to be a chayev carbon, even b'shaying. Or b'mezid. Amli rabban l'Abaye. So aim b'mezid m'chayev chad, b'shaying m'chayev tarti. Maybe there's a distinction when it comes to violating Eidos, Shavuos Eidos, B'mezid Yechayev 1, B'shaying Yechayev 2. Amlahu Hadi Armi La'achas Achas L'Mechayev Yata Mechayev Shtayim Yechayev once. The B'mezid Mikatarti. Rabbi Omer Mishum David Abisham B'Chalal B'Yatzul Edan B'Chadash. Since this is something that was in a category, and then it was coming to go out of its way to teach us something new. Enocha Boy El Chidush B'Vad. All we have is that one chiddush. Mechlal de by savar leis l'shua b'oilam. Okay, let's hold off. Let's look at Rashi. Rabbi Kolaimer lut sarchem yute mil achas. I don't need this pasuk. She'im ar mishur shel oichel. I'm making sure I'm not going to eat. V'achal pas chitin, pas sarin, pas koismin. And they're eating these different breads. Enochav el achas. But edus bitoy lut sarchem yute. They have edus davar shoy b'chlal bitoy. That it has to be in Beistin. Hilkach ein l'chaboy el chidushay misham edus chayev v'loy misham bitoy. You're only chayev for Shavuos Eidos, but not Shavuos bitoy. Fine. So B'chlal by Salvar must be a by holds isu shvu b'oilam. That says Rashi, Koloimer Isul Hashem Shavuos Bitoy. There's a concept of Shavuos Bitoy, Ben Yodeilcha Eidos. When someone says, I don't know testimony. Mahaydol Machayev Tarti Mishumiyuta De'enat Machayev Shtayimhu. It's just a me in the pasuk why you can't be chayev 2. The Nafkamina says Rashi, Heicha De'isabot Labitoy V'leisel Eidos. What if, even though technically it could be there's Eidos, there's Bitoy and Eidos, Shavuos Eidos, but let's say the Shavuos Eidos can't be mechayev you. Could go in b'psulin l'Eidos, someone's puzzle Eidos, so shul b'beistin, it has to be done in Beistin. To leikel mifter mil'achas mechayev mishum bitoy. So even though maybe you're going to be puffed from Shavuos Eidos, you'll still be chayev al Shavuos bitoy. So that would be the nafkamina. The V'ayviyom Rabbi Maidu Rabbi Emel Chaver Shavuos Shenocha Eidos Ishtachat Lo Yadu Le the Potter. Hoyav Leisei Be'eni Yodelocha Eidos Haderbe Abaya Mahahi Abaya learned it from here. V'iboy Sema Chad Minayu Rapapa Amra. Okay, we're gonna stop there. Let's maybe see another question or two. Says question 14. Shavuos she'eni yodelocha Eidos. I don't know testimonies against Shavuos Eidos. Ishtachach Lo Yada. So it turns out. So the testimony is that he does know Eidos, she'ani yodeya, and it turns out he doesn't know. Him chayim mishum Shavuos bitoy umastadim. So it's a machlokas and a Abaye and Rava whether you're going to be chayim Shavuos bitoy. If Im isabalav kigain b'psulin v'chutzl beistin. The nafkamina, again, if let's say the edus is an aid posel or was done on a beistin, so there's no shuas edus. According to Bai, you'll be chayiv. According to Rabba, you're going to be potter. So that is, as we saw in Rashi, what is the nafkamina? Whether or not, when it comes to this case, whether or not you're going to be chayiv. So the answer is because if you hold that technically you can be chayiv both, but since there's exersa kosev, so therefore if there's no shuas edus, so then there's shuas bitui. Question TA 19. Tanan. Shvur shel hinachti tefillin hayoim chayiv. So he said, if a person makes a shvur that he's not going to wear tefillin today, mashbiachani v'oimer amein chayiv. So in that case, he's going to be chayiv. So, madua haleisabel haba. Well, that shouldn't work because it's not something that can be done in the future, right? Because it's something you're not allowed to do. So we say you're right. You would not be chayiv, but l'stadin katani, and therefore where are we? L'stadin katani, and when it says lo hanachti is l'malkus, it doesn't mean that you'll be chayiv or you'll be yared, because you're right. It's only going to be if it's something in which it's not possible, because it has to be that osid and habom need to be connected. So therefore, you're right. You're not going to be chayiv a carbon, but you will be chayiv malchus. That's TA 19. Okay, TB 20. Tanan shur shlo nachti tefillin hayoyim chayim adu halesu haba chayim malchus avul chayim a carbon. That's exactly right. Ad kan.